Your body language already looks beat.
It's not beat. We are back to where it all started. We're back at Drayton Reservoir. I don't know what this is, Series 3 match.
I have no idea. I've lost track because I just keep winning, so it just all blurs into one big match.
Yeah, and it's just one big defeat for me. But hopefully things are going to change this time. We made a pact when we decided to come back here that we wouldn't use the same tactics as before. So we're doing very different methods to how we originally fished this.
Last time, as you probably would have guessed, I used solid bags and won.
Does this mean that we're not getting a solid bag sequence?
We're not getting a solid bag sequence this, so I'm going completely down the other route and going zigs with sloppy mix over the top. Last time you fished a whole spod mix on a spot with bait.
I thought I fished just boilie on a spot. So I thought this time I'll go with a spod mix and I use particle, I use hemp, I use corn, I use chops, I use boilies. Turns out last time I'd done very similar, but I didn't realise that till the way up here. So
already you're cheating. Before we've even cast a line in the water, you're cheating already.
I am, but I feel like, well, I was going to say I feel like I need a bit of an edge, but last time it didn't work. So that might set the tone for the rest of this video.
Yes, but we need to decide swims. We're actually on the opposite bank of where we were last time. So if you remember from last time, we were on almost like a corner. I'm not sure what they're called, the boards. They're all boards, to be honest, around this side of the lake.
It's like a point, wasn't it?
We're the side with most of the houses, and we're the very first swims you can fish from this bank. The weather's a lot nicer than it was last time. It's sunny, it's pretty warm actually for early November. So hopefully the zigs will actually pay off. But we got to decide who's left, who's right. You got a lens cap?
I actually don't have a lens cap, but because of my slight issue in planning, I will let you decide.
It's not an issue, you pre-planned it.
I pre-planned it badly.
You're acting all innocent that you didn't know you were doing the
Pre-planned it badly, so I'll let you choose. We've got 35 and 36. You can have what one you want.
I'm gonna go right side, more water.
I mean, you got the whole lake, and I've got a corner, as usual.
Well, you stupidly said when we got here, peg 35 will go left of that buoy, 36, sorry, 35 to the right.
Yeah.
So you've really shoehorned yourself into a little pocket there.
But the wind is blowing in, and it does look good. Should we do it? Yeah. Stuff's everywhere. We just got to get sorted now.
That's all right, when you said let's do it, I actually got going.
All right, it's 1 o'clock, Joe, you ready?
I am indeed.
Let's do it.
I've now got to pay out 12 feet, then bring it back to get the height of my zig.
I'll talk you through what I've found and what I'm doing in a little bit. But for now, I'm just going to get these rods out and then get a little bit of bait over them.
All right, so I've got one at 9 foot, one at 7 foot, in 12 foot of water in the sun. Bit of a slower process than solid bags, but I'm now fishing.
Oh, it's quite a nice little mix, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hit the deck.
Because that's
it's worth like cake in it as well. That stinks. Was it a fish, Sam?
Yeah, liquid fish.
So this is your drastically different tactic to last time.
Yeah, it's got corn in it.
I didn't even bring a solid bag setup, so I can't even switch halfway through.
It's like because you don't own one anymore.
Too early in the match to bring up the fact that everything got stolen from my sheds.
I wonder how many videos you can get that in.
Well, it's been about an hour now since Luke put all that bait in and he's yet to have a bite. Well, it's time for me to now make up my own mix, and because I'm using zigs, there's not really anything to hold the fish in the area, and I'm going to have to make a mix that clouds up the water, bits that are going to be up and down in the water column, just try and hold them there and get them to start taking the zigs mid-water. The weather is pretty spot on for zigs. It's cold nights, we're getting down to single figures, sometimes frosts. The sun is up at the moment, so I feel like the fish are going to be up in the layers rather than too much on the deck, and we have been seeing fish show not too far out. Where I'm fishing is 12 foot in depth, and I'm fishing at 9 foot and 7 foot for now. So at the moment, it's just 2 little bits of foam out there, not really much attraction. It could go off, but I think I need to introduce some bait to get the fish feeding and actively come into the area. So to make it nice and sloppy and just cloud up the water, I went for loads of different powdered mixes from a local tackle shop. So this is Sweetened Fish Natural, Cheesy Hemp and Halley, so I guess that's halibut pellets ground up, Sweetened Fish Dark, and then White Crumb. So I've gone for different colours, as you can see, some darks, some whites, pale stuff. So depending on what the water, light levels are like, the lighter stuff should show up, dark stuff would be a bit of contrast as well. But that's all very fine powder stuff. So to go in that, I've also got some riser pellets, stuff that's going to go up and down through the water column, some small particle. So of course, some of this is going to fall to the bottom essentially as well in the end. Micro pellet again. And then I've also got some blitzed up boilie crumb, which is really bright, vibrant pink in colour. So lots of colour, lots of different densities of things that should go up and down. I'm just going to chuck all of this in a bucket, make up a mix of lake water and also some syrup to make it really stinky and sweet. And then just see how it looks in the margin. As long as I'm happy with that, starting to get some bait out over the top of these zigs.
Right, so Joe's ran through what he's doing, so I'm going to quickly run through what I'm doing. Granted, Joe did say earlier that it's very similar to what I used last time.
Should we just take the clip from the previous match here and stick that in here? It would save a lot of time.
It would save a bit of time. No, I am doing things slightly differently, and I'll show you now. So first thing I'm talking about is going to be the boilies. So I am using boilies, but I'm using predominantly chops. So I'd probably say 75% chops to 25% whole boilies, and I'm using the 15mm Cremino, so fairly small. And then, yeah, like I say, I'm literally just chopping them in half, and then that's, it just gives different size bits and pieces going into the mix. So I've already done all the chops, so I'm not going to bore you with that. I think I said that last time.
Boring us anyway.
But then, yeah, literally just a couple of handfuls. I'll go 3 handfuls of whole boilies, and that is it on the boilie front. The rest of it, I'm doing bits of pellet and bits and pieces like that. So I've got some 6mm Cremino pellets. So a healthy amount of that. I've then got some oily hemp. So again, good amount of that. Put that in there. A load of sweet corn. So again, it's different size bits and pieces, different colours. And then I am basically topping all of that off with some liquid fish, which is a proper stinky Baitworks liquid. And that makes it all gooey and gluggy and all sorts. And when I first put a few spoms out when we first got here, you could see how oily this was. And I know you don't want to use loads of oils this time of year, but to be honest, it hasn't really cooled down that much. So I think it's okay at the moment. Until we've had that first really cold spell, I don't mind putting a bit in there. And that's it. I'm literally going to mix that together. And then just over the top, I'm using boosted hard hook baits. So again, they're just 15mm hook baits, and they're just bottom baits. I just want to match pretty much what I'm putting in, have it sitting on the bottom. So then hopefully when they do come in, if they do come in, then they feel nice and confident feeding on that area. There's nothing sticking up too far that's going to kind of put them off, make them on edge. So that's the plan. And like I say, there's a couple of rods in the same sort of area. Now, we haven't actually wrapped up because we're on decking, so it's not easy to get wrapping sticks in. But we've walked them out. In terms of wraps, I'd probably say it's 10 or 12 roughly. But yeah, we know where we need to be, so it's nice and easy to get back onto spot. It's a nice distance, so it's not too much hard work. We're not fishing at range, well, neither of us are really. And then that is what the mix comes out like. So you've got all sorts of different size particles, you've got loads of attraction in there. Hopefully it's going to do the job. So I've put out, I think it was 10 spoms when I first put the rods out. I've since topped up with another 5, and I'm just going to keep periodically topping up, just keeping that bait dropping in, keeping the scent in the area, because it is a bit windy on it today. There's a bit of a chop on the water, so that scent's going to be moving away all the time, other than what's actually on the bottom. So I just want to keep that same area, constantly having that attraction in there. And hopefully when they get on it, they really get on it, because they do move around in big shoals here. So there could be a chance of a good hit of fish. That's the theory, but we've got to put it into practice. Well, should we tot up the scores on the doors?
Thank you very much. Yeah, I need this coffee after that active afternoon.
It has been hectic, hasn't it?
So I'm on a total of £0, 0 ounces.
pretty similar my side as well. When I say pretty similar, it's identical.
Close then. It is a close match.
It is very close.
Whatever you want to say about this match, it's close.
Has been from the off.
It has been, yeah. So that's quite good. Good viewing that it's been as close and it's not one-sided. And we've tried our best. So I'm fishing with zigs, and that's mainly because, like we mentioned, we were meant to be fishing tactics that we've not done on here before. But also in the comment section of the last time we fished here, despite the fact we had plenty of fish, and plenty for me, I didn't need any more than what we had.
Yeah, we got told we'd done it all wrong.
Yeah, there's a few comments saying we fished it wrong, you should be using zigs, sloppy spot over the top. So that's exactly what I'm trying this time. So I'm blaming some of the viewers for this so far. If I blank, it's on you, the viewers, some of you.
Yeah, I mean, there's no better my side either. Not a lot's happened. I've kept topping up probably once an hour, putting 5 swarms out just to try and get that spot going, get the fish onto it. But I haven't seen any fish on it. So hence why there's been no bites from my side either.
We have seen fish though.
We have seen fish. Most of them have been,
as I look round.
Yep, on the opposite side of the lake.
Yeah.
So.
And it's that regular that most times you turn your head and look, there's another one. So it's basically where we were fishing last time we were here.
Which I'm sure you're going to be typing now. Why aren't you moving? And actually, why aren't we moving?
Because you've got to screw your bivvy pegs in. It takes ages.
It does.
And I'm quite comfortable here. And I'm still confident that where we are, we have seen fish show, and there's a surfboard in front of us, which is, I'd say it's easily 100 yards or so. I'm not fishing...
Straight behind you.
Yeah, I'm not fishing that far. The bailiff did say that. But the way I'm fishing with adjustable zigs, I want to be able to see the float that I'm using. Ooh, that was close. That one wasn't far off. They're moving closer. So I want to be able to see the adjustable float. I'm popping it to the top, then bring it down and be really accurate at what heights I'm fishing at, which is why I've not gone too far. And it's a comfortable range to get a sloppy mix out, because trying to spot out something that's as sloppy as that, even at the distance I'm at the moment, it keeps opening occasionally. So I'm fishing a comfortable range. I'm sure they'll turn up, and I have fished all the way from 3 foot to 10 foot today. I keep on changing it. So we've tried our best.
And I mean, putting it into perspective as well, we keep talking about what we've done today and that we've done this and we've done that. The rods went out at 1 and it's now 4:15.
Yeah, we're very impatient. It's just because it gets dark.
Yeah, it's been just over 3 hours.
Psychologically, it feels like a whole day, but most of the day was driving. We've been driving, it took longer to drive here than we have been fishing.
Yeah. And we've been fishing probably the worst time out of the 24 hours that we could have been here.
Yeah, do we think, are we convincing the viewers that we're doing our best?
I think so, yeah. Are we doing all right? Let us know in the comments. But yeah, it's coming into the evening. It's going to get dark. We're going to show you fish when we get them because we've got some lights with us, but don't expect many updates.
It's getting cold as well.
It is getting cold, so we'll have to get into bed.
Separately. Bosh!
Back in?
Yeah, I'm thinking of redoing for the morning. Slow night. Did manage one though. You eventually got up for the second check of the weighing and a bit of filming.
I didn't really want to get up, if I'm honest. No. Wait, that's not a zig.
Ah! Zigs have never been my strong point, should we put it like that. So I gave them my best yesterday and nothing was happening. And the amount of stuff in that spod mix that would have fallen to the deck, I thought, well, there's probably quite a bit of bait on the bottom out there now. And as nothing had happened with the zigs through the day, when the sun was up, I thought I'm less confident at night with them up in the air on zigs. So I resorted back to my old faithful fluoro D rigs with little wafters.
I don't know if we can allow that fit.
We can, it's still not the same tactic as my last trip, which was solid bags. What do you mean can't allow it? You're the one that's been cheating from the start. I just used my fishing brain and thought, I reckon there's more chance of a bite on the deck tonight, and I was right. Because, everyone, I am now 20 pounds, 2 ounce ahead of Luke with a sole fish at just about midnight. It was freezing last night as well. It was really cold.
It was very cold.
But I am going to put zigs back out now, so I'm going to set that up and talk you through exactly how I'm using it to be adjustable. The sun is up, it's meant to be like this all morning I think, so it's prime for getting the zigs back out, a bit more mix over the top, and hopefully today it's a bit more productive on the zigs. So I can still see the float is on the surface. I'm just going to tweak it back on the reel until it's just about to disappear. So I can see it straightened up. The tail rubber is now kicked up into the air. It's just about to disappear. So now I know that the float is just about to go into the surface, and all I've got on the surface at the moment is my rig, which I know is 3 foot in length. So I've got a foot mark on the rod, pull back the 3 foot of the zig. 1, 2, 3. So I now know that my bit of foam is sitting probably within a few inches of the surface, but I want to fish this one a bit lower. So the left one I've got a 10 foot, so I pull back 2 foot of line to fish at 10 foot. This one I want to fish at 8 foot, so I'm going to bring back 4 foot of line. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the reason I'm not fishing fixed zigs is because if I want to keep changing the depth to try and find where the fish are, that's a lot of tying up different zigs, cast them out. If that doesn't work, tying up another one. This one I can change the foot depth really quickly without even having to recast. I can just let a foot of line out and that'll pop up to 9 foot, take another foot back, and it will go down to 7 foot, as easy as that. So pop it onto the alarm, which we will talk about in a second, because as you know, this series is brought to you by CARPology, and these are some of their latest offerings. But that is now 2 zigs fishing for me at 10 foot and 8 foot. But time to get some bait out as well. And Luke, you can have these glasses back as well. They're not as bad as your blue ones.
Well, after all your gloating this morning, it's time we moved into my swim and had a catch up.
This is where the content drops off.
Yeah, there's not a lot to catch up about, to be honest. Yeah, nothing happened last night. No excuses.
But you're about to lay off some excuses.
It was cold. We're the only 2 on the lake. The fish were shown on the far side. No, there's no excuses. I mean, all them things are true, but
all of which are the same things I had in my swim.
yeah, but you were closer to the other side, weren't you?
Mm.
No, it didn't happen. Didn't happen at all. They didn't come onto that spot. I've moved my right rod off that spot.
That's not like you.
Hang on, I'm persevering with that spot. I've put a little bit more bait out again this morning, and I'm constantly trying to build that, hoping that they do move on to it, but they're not. But I did see 2 or 3 fish a bit further, which
supposedly.
I did. There was definitely a couple of fish there, which I've moved a single white high-vis pop-up. Well, I don't know if they're high-vis, but they're white. One of these induced pop-ups. Smell amazing. And I'm just hoping that, yeah, I mean, it's in an area that I've seen fish, which is more than I can say for the baited spot. So, clutching at straws, really. But then it could all turn around. We could have quite a productive morning. We've got a few hours here, so...
But it wouldn't be a versus match without you coming off your pre-planned spot, putting something high-vis on and wanging it as far as you can. It's a classic Luke move, that one.
It is. Last-ditch attempt. But yeah, we'll see what the morning produces, if anything, and go from there, really. But blanking at Drayton isn't the one.
I'm so glad that just my one fish means that I don't have that title to my name at the moment.
One 10-pounder just to clear that.
Oh, I love that.
This is terrible.
Bacon?
Bacon. Well, as you all know by now, during these versus matches, we always feature them around a certain new CARPology product. And in this one, it is these Element Compact alarms, and they are compact by name and compact by nature because they are absolutely tiny. And this is thanks to them being completely rechargeable. Now, I'll come onto that a little bit more in a minute, but as you'd expect from an alarm, you can change everything you'd expect to be able to change. So you can change your volume, your tone, your sensitivity. Each one of them has got 6 different settings. So 6 volume, 6 tone, 6 sensitivity. And changing them is super simple as each of the parameters has got its own button. So if you want to change your volume, you can cycle through like so. So you've got a muted mode, and then you've got 5 different levels of volume. Same with tone, you've got 6 different tones. And then the sensitivity, obviously that's not quite as easy to tell what sensitivity you're on, but luckily this beeps in accordance to what sensitivity level you're actually on. So if you're on the lowest sensitivity, it will beep once, and if you're on the highest sensitivity, it will beep 6 times. So just a quick example, that is going to be the lowest sensitivity, obviously, and then it gradually increases like that until you're on the highest sensitivity, which is 6 beeps, and then going back to 1. So it's nice and simple to know exactly where you're at with these, and if you want to change them, it is nice and easy as well. Now, aside from the usual parameters that you can change, you can actually change the LED colour on these as well. So there's 4 different colours to choose from. So if you've got the 4+1 set, again, we'll talk about different sets that you can get a little bit later, but if you've got the 4+1 set, you can have a different colour on each of the alarm heads. Now, these not only do a standard run sort of bite on the tone that you choose, but they do have a drop back tone as well. So if I just ping this, for example, that's your standard run, which is the tone that you choose, and then that flashes up with the colour that you choose as well. But if it comes to a drop back, you'll notice there is a much lower tone. So it's nice and easy to tell if you've got a normal bite or a drop back before you even get to your rods. So one other thing to mention about the alarm heads is you've actually got on this side just a little 2.5mm jacking point. So that means you can use illuminated hangers or anything like that, and the power that these alarms have actually allow you to then power those hangers. So I mentioned these alarms are completely rechargeable, and that's really handy because it means you don't have to think about carrying spare batteries with you, replacing batteries every so often. So it's going to keep the costs down, but it's also a lot easier as well. And that is where this cable comes in. So you've got a single USB-A plug on one end, and then that goes down to the other end, which has got 5 different little heads. Each of these heads can then plug into the back of the alarm head, and that's what charges the alarm. So by having 5 coming off one cable, it means you can charge, if you've got a 4+1 set, for instance, you can charge all 4 alarm heads and 1 receiver with just 1 USB-A socket. And the nice thing about these as well is obviously you can charge them at home so they're ready for your session, and it's hard to say how long they'll actually last because every session is different. It depends how much use you get out of them. On this session, obviously they're going to last me some time, but if you've got a really productive session, then they're going to be working a lot harder, beeping a lot more, and you'll get less battery life out of them. But generally, CARPology state that you can get between a long weekend to a week's fishing out of them, and that's of heavy use. But the nice thing is you can charge them on the bank. So because it only takes 1 socket, you can use pretty much any power bank that's got a USB-A port on them, and then it can charge it whilst they're still in use. So these alarms and the receiver all have a low battery warning. Basically, once every 10 seconds, it will give you a little bleep to let you know that the battery is low. But yeah, if you've got a power bank, you can plug this in next to them, and then you can charge them whilst they're still running. So there's no downtime. You're not going to be out of action where you think, oh, I've got to bring the rods in because I've got no alarms for 4 hours whilst I charge. You can charge them as they're still working. Now, of course, I keep mentioning 4+1, and that is because the +1 is the receiver. So this set comes with a receiver, again, like the alarm head, fully rechargeable using the same cables that I've outlined just now. Nice thing about this, just like the alarm heads as well, it is fully customizable. You've got 6 different volume settings again. There's actually a vibrate mode just in the middle here that you can choose to have on or off, and then you've got your power button just at the top. So you've got volume, power and vibrate, but then at the top of the receiver you've also got a little flashlight. It's not the brightest in the world, I'm going to admit, but it is handy. So if you're looking for something in your bivvy, you can literally just hold down this middle button. You're not going to see much now at all, but it turns on your little flashlight, and then when it's actually dark, it is bright enough to have a little look around your bivvy. If you need to find your bait and needle or something like that, it's bright enough for that, so you don't have to worry about putting a bivvy light on. And the nice thing about it, because it's not too bright, in the middle of summer, you're not going to end up attracting a load of mosquitoes when you just want to find your bait and needle. So yeah, it's really nice to have it on there. Some of you won't use it, but some of you will find it very useful indeed. So like I mentioned, these are available in all different sets. So you can get a 2+1 set where you get 2 heads and a receiver, you get a 3+1 or a 4+1. So depending on how many rods you normally fish with, or if you want a spare or not, then you can buy a set that fits what you need. But you can also buy these individually as well. So you can buy just the alarm head or just the receiver. But moving on to the prices, the 2+1 set comes in at $169.99. The 3+1 is $199.99. And then the 4+1 comes in at $249.99. Or like I say, if you wanted to buy them separately, if you've bought a 2+1 set and then you start fishing with a 3rd rod, then you can pick them up at $69.99 each. You can also pick up a spare receiver if you want one for the same price, again at $69.99. So these are the Element Compact Alarms, and if you want to find out any more information about these, then please do head over to the CARPology website.
Here's my adjustable zig setup. First of all, we've got a rather funky shaped lead clip setup, and that just allows the line to run as freely as that through the lead clip when I'm trying to adjust the height of the zig. Just fixed into place on the deck with a 3-ounce standard lead, so it doesn't really matter what lead you use as long as it holds place. And then it goes to the zig float itself. Now this is where most of the buoyancy comes from, which helps you adjust the height. And then on from there, I've got my fixed length zig. Now I've gone for 3 foot in length, or just shy of, on both of the rods. So that allows me to know that as soon as that float goes under the surface by 3 foot, I've got a marker on my rod, I pull back 3 foot of line, that's then perfectly on the top. And then every foot I retract from there brings it down a foot in the water column. So I've just put the first one back out, and that's now sitting at 10 foot in 12 foot of water. This one's probably going to go a little bit lower than that, maybe around the 8 foot mark. And then as you saw yesterday with that spod mix, I'm going to knock up another batch, get a load of that out, and hopefully with the sun beaming down on us this morning, the zigs actually pay off today. But that's how I'm actually fishing it. Hard cut to Vans.
Yeah.
Not a good session.
Not really.
Most people probably wouldn't upload this, but not us.
Nope, we've got to get what we can out of our time. Yeah, why are we here? Well, nothing happened at all, ever. So, yeah, I mean, you put more bait out.
I did. I tried different depths.
Tried different depths on these zigs. I put a bit more bait out. I had a rod that I was moving about, hoping to pick something up, and nothing happened. We didn't see any fish really in our area. I said earlier that there was some a little bit further than where I was fishing, and I had a rod on that for a while, but nothing happened.
No.
So, I mean,
we've been defeated by Drayton. Not something that you ever want to admit or have to your name, but unfortunately it is to our names now. I still had one, but for this venue, one fish in 24 hours is nothing to sing and dance about.
to make a video about.
No, so we are going to come back. This is part 1 of this match, and we're going to be back next week.
We are. It's more of a versus of us against a match. Against a match?
Against the lake.
Against the lake. My head's gone.
Redemption from Drayton.
Yeah. So we will be back here pretty much this time next week, and I think we're going to do things a little bit differently and on a few fronts. We turned up here yesterday, we had pre-booked swims, and we went straight to them. We didn't look around. We were the only ones on last night. We had the pick of the lake, but we were so tunnel visioned into we've got to make a versus match. This is what we've got booked, that we went straight round there, we got set up, and then just pretty much on dusk, we were seeing them all on the other side of the lake.
Showing. Every time you look around, there was more dolphin and out. So
yeah, so we're going to come back next week, fresh set of eyes. We're booked onto the venue, but we haven't booked a swim.
So next time we're actually going to get here, see where we can see the fish if we can, and act on that rather than just rock up and watch them from a distance.
The thing that we always tell you guys to do and say that we do at the start of a session, but this time, yeah, it's just been a lapse in judgment, I think. But another thing that's going to be a bit different next time is the way we fish it.
Yes. So as we've always done in different sessions, we have used different tactics, whether that be solid bags, mainly me, quite a lot of time. Sorry, you can go past if you want.
Sure. Yeah, go for it.
We're the ones set up on a public walkway.
Thanks, cheers.
So whether that be solid bags, baiting on a spot, zigs like I've just done, or all sorts, different methods we use throughout the Versus series. We're going to put them all into a list, which we've got here.
Yes.
And then random number generator is how we're going to have to fish. So in no particular order, please, Luke.
Okay, we've got solid bags, favourite tactic of Joe. 2 on a baited spot, or 2 or 3 on a spot. Obviously here it's a 2-rod venue, so it's 2 on a spot, but other venues we've done 3 on a spot, haven't we? Method feeder.
You've done it once, and it was
I've done
quite
it
funny.
once. It went really badly because I used stick mix and it just did not combine together. So that is another potential method. Zigs, which have demonstrated perfectly on this session.
This was supposed to get my confidence up in zigs.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people told us last time zigs work really well there. So I'm gonna have to find all of those comments on the previous one and reply to them saying,
They don't.
yeah, you jinxed me.
And then throwing stick and boilies, so a big area of solely buoy these and then 2 or 3 rods on that area. So there's a few different methods and you've got to pick out some random numbers.
I have. And you're not going to know what our methods are
because
until the
these
next
aren't in
one.
order.
So 1 to 5, generate a number. You're number 2.
Oh no. Okay.
And I am 1.
Oh.
Interesting.
Okay, so next time I'm going to be fishing with